My mother didn't whisper. She didn't cry. She screamed it with a cold, terrifying clarity. Get out and never come back. So I did exactly that. I picked up my keys, stepped onto the porch of the house my family had owned for decades, the same house I'd been quietly keeping afloat for years, and I drove away. For weeks, there was nothing but silence. Then my father called. His voice was shaky, almost polite, when he asked why the mortgage hadn't been paid. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I just gave him one sentence. The silence that followed taught me everything I'd never understood about power, family, and the cost of being the dependable one. The burden of the easy child. My name is Jessica. I'm 29. As a regional manager in real estate, my job is to solve high-stakes problems before they explode. I didn't realize I'd been doing the same thing for my family since I was a child. In our quiet Phoenix suburb, we looked perfect. But inside, my mother, Linda, curated a life of appearances. Her compliments always had teeth. Her love was a loan that could be called in at any time. My father, Robert, was a ghost who avoided conflict by staring at his dinner plate. To keep the peace, I became the easy daughter, the one with the straight as who never asked for anything. The shift happened when my dad lost his job. It wasn't a sudden crash. It was a slow leak. Family takes care of family, my mom would say, right before a utility bill would accidentally find its way to my purse. I started helping. Payment here, a grocery run there. I told myself it was temporary. But as the months turned into years, my father stopped looking for work, and my mother started spending more. She'd buy new clothes and kitchen upgrades, then turn around and complain about how exhausted she was by her sacrifices. I was 29, making a great salary, yet I drove an old car and skipped vacations because my family was hemorrhaging my savings. My best friend Sarah finally asked me, "Are you building your life or just holding theirs together?" The breaking point came during a Sunday dinner. My Aunt Brenda, who is as practical as my mother is performative, let the cat out of the bag. "I'm so glad you guys got past that scare," Brenda said lightly. "You told me Jessica helped you sort out the mortgage." The air left the room. My mother's face went from pale to a livid, toxic red. She wasn't grateful that the house had been saved. She was humiliated that someone knew they needed saving. "How dare you?" she hissed at me. "You think because you help financially you get a say. You think this is your house now. Get out." My father looked at his plate. He didn't say a word. The first thing I felt when I left wasn't anger. It was a terrifying, beautiful relief. When the 15th of the month arrived, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee. My banking app sent the usual notification. Pending transfer. Mortgage. I didn't hesitate. I hit cancel. 3 weeks later, my dad was at my door. He looked haggard. "The bank sent notices," he stammered. "The payment didn't go through. Your mother is scared, Jessica. We're going to lose the house." I looked at the man who had watched me be exiled from the very home I was funding. "I already lost something, Dad," I said quietly. "I lost my place in this family the night she kicked me out of a house I was paying for." He begged. He promised she'd apologize. I just stood up and gave him my one sentence. "I am not paying anymore." There was no miracle. My parents had to sell. They moved into a smaller place, faced the reality of their budget, and finally started having the difficult conversations they'd avoided for 20 years. I didn't do it to be cruel. I did it because letting people face the consequences of their choices isn't heartless. It's honest. Today my money is mine. My time is mine. My peace is mine. I learned the hard way that you cannot save people who have no interest in saving themselves. Has a family member ever mistaken your kindness for a permanent paycheck? How did you set your boundaries? Let's talk in the comments.